Hey folks, Kilt-Man here, Kilt-Man at your services. How are you all? I hope you're all doing very, very well. Hope you all enjoyed Halloween. Halloween 2023 was last night. Now, this little video here is about what Kilt-Man got up to on Halloween. And the only reason I'm doing this is because yesterday, everyone was asking me, what you doing for Halloween? What films you going to watch? What you doing? Where you going? Where can I meet you? And I was kind of winging it. The whole day I was winging it. But had fun anyway. And then today, everyone's going, what did you do, Kilt-Man? What did you watch? Where did you go? What did you do? Well, okay, I'll tell you. If it matters that much to you. Now, first of all, Halloween is my biggest day of the year. And for many of us, we're all horror fans, aren't we? Monster kids. I'm proud of it. But this year, because of events around the world, real life horror, and suddenly I was not getting the vibe at all. Normally throughout October I'll watch a horror film or two every single day. In fact, to be honest, I watch horror movies most days of the year anyway. It could be Halloween every day of the year as far as I'm concerned. But when the real one swings around, I get into it all. I love all the TV themed programs and stuff, and they put horror season on certain channels, and it's great. But this year, no, I didn't feel it. I was really, you may have noticed there was a rather conspicuous lack of horror videos that I've been doing. You know, you'd have got reviews and coverage and stuff. Usually I jam pack it every October on the channel, but this time I just didn't feel it. Too many horrible things taking place, and it just robbed all the atmosphere and the allure. However, I did wake up yesterday morning, Halloween itself, and I was totally in the mood for it for Halloween. I'm always in the mood for the other, if you know what I mean. But I suddenly felt, oh my God, I felt energized, resurrected, you could say. So I had a lot of time to make up for. So, I mean, I tend to do each Halloween on the day itself. I will sort of cycle through the movies from the different periods. I'll watch some cozy, creaky, old Universal horrors. Then I might do a Hammer movie. Then I'll go into something from the 70s, The Exorcist, Dawn of the Dead, something like that, you know? Or something like The Hills of Eyes. And then I'll move into the more fun stuff of the 80s. And then I'll round it off with an absolute classic, you know. People go, oh, The Thing's your favourite movie. Do you watch that? Well, actually on Halloween, I don't tend to. I don't tend to watch, you know, my big favourites on that night. Because I've seen them a million times and, you know, that's just the way it is. But yesterday, I started off watching 1931's Bela Lugosi Dracula. And I've long been a champion of Bela Lugosi. Let's be honest, it's a very stagey, theatrical, quiet and, you know, sort of somnambulistic movie. But we still love it. You know, without that movie, you wouldn't have all those gazillions of gorgeous gothic girls who are out there. Yes. And Lugosi is magnetic and charismatic, and his mangling of the English accent is a joy forever. So I love the movie. And I'll watch that. And then I did sort of leap ahead a bit, but still keeping with the Universals. And I watched Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman. Yeah, there's a film I bang on about a hell of a lot. I mean, it's got the two faves. I've got Bela Lugosi again is in there, playing that guy there. And of course, Lon Chaney Jr. playing that guy there. And I love that movie. A lot of good fun. And then I thought, like, I'll do like a Hammer movie. I'll do like Curse of the Werewolf or Devil Rides Out, maybe sort of midday. But the dog, the husky, was like, no, Dad, I want to go out. And you need to get back before the trick-or-treaters come out. So let's do our jaunt now. But as you guys know well enough, a dog walk with Roxy the husky ends up in pub. And that is what happened. But I went out and I put like one of them lovely billowing gothic, like frilly, billowy sleeved white shirts, very gothic, and an old gothic frock coat as well. Very similar to the coat that Christopher Lee wears in The Curse of Frankenstein as the monster. Also very similar to the coat that vicious cellar dweller, Dr. Fraudstein, wears in The House by the Cemetery. He's the thing down in the cellar that kills everybody else and rips up their bodies to keep himself going, rejuvenating himself with some impromptu surgery. And it's very similar to that jacket as well, only not as blood smeared. And I thought, I know what I'll do. I've got these great gloves, these werewolf taloned hands. Here they are, right now. You've probably seen these in little videos as well. I've worn these quite a bit, and they're great. So I thought, well, what I'll do is, I'll just wear one. You know, sometimes when I'm walking the dog on the street, the dog's on the lead. I'll just have one, so you can say, oh, that's Kilt-Man. Oh, that's hello, Roxy, and all that. And they're digging in their pockets and giving treats to her. And if they didn't, she would make sure that she got treats off them by fair means or foul. And then they'd clock this hand, like, and they'd go like, and some would get it and go, oh, Kilt-Man, you and your jolly japes, and your really bizarre, diseased, malformed hand. And they'd smirk and they might make comments, but other people you pass on the street and they'd let on, oh, isn't your dog gorgeous? I swear to God, my dog, whose name, as I've just said several times, is Roxy, she thinks her name is gorgeous because everywhere she goes, people go, oh, you're gorgeous. Oh, you're gorgeous, aren't you? You're gorgeous. She's just like, yes, I am gorgeous. She is gorgeous now. But, and they'd go, oh, hello, Roxy. And they'd see this hand and they'd go, and they wouldn't want to mention it at all because they were genuinely unsure. And they sort of like, okay, and like look away. So I'd stop and of course, look, perchance glance over my shoulder, and they'd stopped and they'd be looking back and like, you can see them thinking, did I just, people at the bus stops and like a bunch of people in a queue and like they'd see the hand and they'd be going, I'd walk past and I'd stop and look back and they'd be like, and then someone would go, oh, it's Halloween, isn't it? But it's the obscureness and randomness of it. You're just walking down the street, you got your husky, okay, you got a big, fancy frock coat on, and a kilt. Obviously, I was wearing a kilt, obviously. But that's hardly, an uncommon sight round here, because everyone knows me. And but you got this wickedly taloned hand as well. Just, matter of fact, swinging there in the breeze, as it were. And then we went to the pub. Yeah, okay. And of course, we'd had a walk through the cemetery as well. Now, that's not as unusual as you might think, because we're back onto the cemetery, as many of you guys know. And so pretty much every day, the dog has a walk and a romp in the boneyard. And it's always good fun, if you're into that kind of thing. But we ended up going to the Royal Oak, and it was bingo day. Bingo day is always a Tuesday. And so all afternoon, everyone's in there doing the bingo stuff and all. Like, we in a poo, 32. He comes up with such weird, sort of, random bloody slogans for each number. But everyone knows and loves Roxy in there, and they all come over to feed her. So my two whiskies came over and made sure I got the glove on like that, and I was like, and I reached around and grabbed the whiskies. Poor barmaid. And then a few other people at the bar as well also shrieked when they saw it. So I thought, my job is done here. It's working. So we sat down, I had a few more whiskies, she had a bowl of water, and a hell of a lot of treats. And time was getting on, and I thought, shit, gotta get back, gotta do more Halloween stuff. You may notice somewhere behind me there is a pumpkin. There it is there. And it's not carved. It's like this year, the in thing with pumpkins is not to carve them, it's to draw on them, just to paint a face upon it, or some kind of effigy or whatever. And I didn't even bother doing that. And normally we have several pumpkins as well. That actually is our second. We've got another one, which is in my daughter's bedroom. And that's not carved either. But it's just a weird colour. I wanted to use it for videos, but my daughter said, no, it's mine. It's green and black. It's kind of like, ooh, this is a gremlin pumpkin, Cheers you all, by the way. Happy Halloween. Because it goes on. And so we didn't carve the pumpkin, and Mrs. Kilt-Man was saying, are you going to decorate the house? Guys, look behind me. This is how the house looks all the time. You've got horror canvases and posters on every wall. You've got artifacts and weapons and masks and figures, and just horror is everywhere, in every room. There's no need to do anything. It's already existing in the realms of horror. So no, we didn't decorate the house. Anyway, so we come back from the pub, and I've had several whiskies by this stage, of course. And so I put both claws on, both gloves. That was a bit difficult to manage the lead during that particular phase. And they were more overt, and there were more kids that had come out of school, so more people were around, and it was getting darker as well because the nights are drawing in now. And it was good. People were going because in sort of the hazy light and the street lamps were coming on, and suddenly those gloves glisten in the light, and so people would catch sight of it. You know, oh, isn't your dog lovely? And they just see these big paws holding the lead. So that was all quite conducive. So I come back home, put the dog in, gave her some scran, and I went to everyone, right, I'm going back out, but this time I'm going to wear a mask as well. So I had this mask, and I went out again to another couple of hostelries, the Cask first of all, and then the Telegraph. And I wore this. Now you've probably seen this mask a lot. It does sit behind me a lot of the time. And it looked great with the collars turned up on the frock coat and the hands. And there was no husky to try and control either. So it was just me on the rampage. And of course I ran smack bang into all the trick-or-treaters. And they were lovely, you know, and I was going, Happy Halloween and all this. Like, and some of the kids were going like, because the other thing is bin bags and witchy hats. They didn't expect that coming at them. But it went down all right. So I went to the Cask, and 1, 2, 3, 4 more large whiskies were had. And by now I was really getting in the spirit. Like, obviously I had to keep lifting the mask up so I can get the whiskey to my lips. But I then went to the Telegraph and had a few more in there. Now our friends, well, my friends, Natalie and Dave, were around the corner, and Sandy behind the bar, she said, oh look, Nat and Dave are behind there. Just creep round the corner, give them a fright, put your hand under the table and feel Natalie's leg. I don't need to be told twice to feel Natalie's leg. So the mask is back on. Guard me whiskies. Mad Mike's at the bar as well. I said, guard them whiskies with your life. Because if I come back and they're gone, I'll be taking your life. So I get down on all fours in my kilt, and I'm prowling round the corner. And as soon as I turned, and like a bit of a pointy ear came into view, Nat just went, hi, Kilt-Man. So, fuck's sake. And I said, how did you know? Well, you weren't very quiet. We're sitting up all of 10 feet away. Okay, there's a wall between us, like, but we can hear everything you're saying, so we were sitting there waiting for you to come round. Oh, well, okay. Still went down a treat. So I had some more whiskey, and then I left, and thought, I've got to go home, because I've got more movies to watch. And I turned the corner from the Telegraph, and straight into a 20-strong group of teenagers. And I thought, well, the mask was back on, and both gloves were on. So they turned around and he saw me, and it was all good natured. And I just went, Happy Halloween. And I started howling at the moon, and I leapt onto someone's garden wall as well. And I was howling and raking the air with my claws and all that. Like, and then one of the girls just said, aren't you Lucy's dad? I was like, oh shit. I went, you know, because what are you going to say? There's only one guy that wears a kilt, and it's Kilt-Man, and Kilt-Man is Lucy's dad. And these were friends of hers. Oh, God. From her school. Aren't you Lucy's dad? And I'm like howling. I'm on top of someone's garden wall, going, oh, and all this shit. Like, so I was like, yeah, I am. There was no other way around it. What are you doing? And I said, it's Halloween. I always do this on Halloween. Oh, God. I've just noticed something as well about this mask. Is that a chunk of it's missing. You see here? Look at that. That isn't part of the contours and design of it. That's a chunk missing, which was there yesterday. So somehow or other, I must have either chewed through that, or I don't know, it's come adrift. That's not particularly good, because if you're a mask collector, you know that these things can rot after time, depending on how you keep them and all that. But that, now I've noticed, it feels that's all going to go. There's some kind of treatment you can put on these things, but it's ripped there as well. So there's trouble brewing for you, my friend. And that's a bit of a shame, isn't it? Well, it just adds to the ruinous look of the poor guy. It's a fabulous mask, that. This was by Ghoulish Productions, I think. Yeah, I think so. Should say it somewhere, actually. I've done a video on this mask somewhere, but I've forgotten what it's called as well. I don't know, Dark Seeker or something like that. Blood Feet. I don't know what it's called. And I can't see when it says Ghoulish. Oh, here. Yeah, it does. It says it on the. It actually says it inside the Nosferatu like ear there, and it has got their trademark pumpkin. I don't know if you can see that there, which is stamped in. But yeah, that's such a shame, that, I suppose. Anyway, so it wasn't over then, because my son had been banging on about watching Nope. Yeah, Jordan Peele's Nope, not Off Planet Air, which I've seen before, and he loved it. I think, when did it come out? Did it come out last year? I think it was one of his films of the year. He absolutely loved Nope, and we got it on 4K, but me and him haven't watched it together. I'd seen it separately from him, and he was banging on, we've got to watch Nope before Halloween. So I come back and I was all thinking, like, oh, it's going to be, I'll have to do my Hammer movie now, and then I'll move into maybe American Werewolf or whatever, you know, Evil Dead, and oh God, and all this kind of stuff. And he's, no, we're watching Nope, and I was kind of like, I didn't really want to watch it. It wasn't really on my map of the day, but we did watch it and did enjoy it. Having said that, I've seen it twice now, and both times it's finished and I've gone, what have I just watched? I don't know what this film is saying or what it's about. I've got no idea. Oh, I know everything that happens in it. Don't get me wrong, but it's one of those that you have a grasp on a movie. It's going very bright all of a sudden. It actually is stormy out there. It's really blowing a hoolie at the moment, but the sun's obviously come out, and now look, we're on fire. We're cooking now, and you have a handle on a movie. You know what it's all about. I've watched it. I've digested it. I understand its subtext. I understand all its meanings. I've got all the performances. I know all the layers of the psychology of the characters. I know it all. Well, I know. I've watched this film twice, and I still know absolutely nothing about the movie. Yeah, and it's a crazy chimpanzee, and there's what's he called? I forgot what the bloody creature thing's called now. Denim, something or other. I can't remember. And it's in the clouds, and it's very strange. And there's all metaphor and stuff like, and he's like, did you enjoy watching it? And I was like, yeah, it was great. Can we watch a proper horror film now, please? So we did end up with what's being completely supernovaed out there is the canvas for Suspiria, Dario Argento's classic 1976-77 occult masterpiece, which I have banged on about a lot. And we watched it in 4K, and wow. In fact, Nope on 4K with, I think, the Dolby Atmos sound. Sweet Jesus, that sound design is exquisite. Really, really good. And Suspiria, well, it's legendary. It was the first movie to use the awesome full Dolby super mix stereo sound system. Only certain cinemas could play it. In fact, there was only one in the UK that could play it, which was the Odeon Leicester Square, if I remember rightly. And it's got a fantastic sound design, and of course the score from Goblin. Now it was now something like, I don't know, 1:30 in the morning, and yeah, that's quite loud. So the Kilt Mansion was bouncing and reverberating with shrieks and devilish, cries of witch, and amazing percussion and a demonic didgeridoo being reenacted as well on the score. And wow, so I apologise to everyone in the vicinity. No, I don't. I drink to your disturbed nights. So that was it. That was Halloween. Now, gone are the days that we used to have parties. We used to have big Halloween parties. I have discussed some of them in depth before, which when we first moved into this place and we hadn't decorated it, I haven't really decorated much of it anyway, to be honest, even in the many years we've been here, but it was vast and empty. there weren't so many breakables, around. So we had hundreds of people come around, everyone in fancy dress. And we did a midnight graveyard raid as well. We went right round the cemetery, and it was fabulous. And we actually played Trick or Treat as well. And it was like gone midnight. So some poor fools answered the door, and opened the door to like 100 people all in costume, carrying severed arms and legs and severed heads. They had machetes through their heads and all that, like clanking chains and Trick or Treat. Oh, what a nightmarish sight that must have been. A few did get the joke and it's fine, no worries here. But we don't do the parties anymore because there's just no, it just ain't gonna happen. And we haven't even been to any Halloween party. Oh, unless you class a party in a pub, which they're just like events. So we go to them. We don't tend to stay. You go in costume, but then I get itchy feet and want to move on somewhere else. But actual house parties, I haven't been to any for ages. Not Halloween, I mean. But so yeah, it was quieter than many people seem to think that the Kilt-Man's Halloweens tend to be. But that's just the way things are, cost of living. Oh, God. But, the horror goes on. Right, now, this is the first of, well, certainly at least 2 videos. It could even be a third, I don't know. Cheers, you all. Well, it depends. How long is this going to last? Because our great friend, Steve 007 Smith, you know him, you love him. He sends a canvas, which is here. It's here. And once again, you know the score, you know the drill. He lets me know that he sent something and he sends me some clues as to what it might be. So when I unveil it, I have to guess what the movie is. All these canvases you can see around the walls, they're all off Steve 007 Smith. And I have guessed almost every single one of them correctly. We're on the same wavelength, we're the same sort of age, we're into the same movies and the same genres, and he gives these little cryptic clues. But very often I get it literally right away, and if I don't get it right away, and if I get it wrong, but when I go, it's either this, or this, but I'm going to go with this, and then you open it, and it isn't that. But it's one of the ones I've mentioned, so I've always been on the right wavelength. Well, this time he didn't send any clues. In fact, he just said, I didn't even see the message until later in the day of Halloween, or later in the morning, and he said like, what was it? Stormy nights, full moon, can it mean only one thing? A huge hairy canvas on its way to Kilt Mansion. Well, straight away I thought, well, full moon, stormy nights, huge hairy, that's me. It's a werewolf movie. It's got to be. Now, the thing is, he has sent a few for American Werewolf and a few for the Wolfman and Frankenstein meets the Wolfman and the Curse of the Werewolf and even, what is it? I'm sure I brought it down. He even did one of me as a werewolf called Werewolf of the Wirral. It's here. It actually is here. So I'll show you this now. And that's fantastic, that. If you look at it, that's my face. That's my face there, but with the fabulous makeup for Oliver Reed as Leon, the poor afflicted lycanthrope in Terence Fisher's fantastic Hammer production of Curse of the Werewolf. And I've got the canvas for the film itself as well, but that's me as a werewolf. So I'm thinking it's a werewolf movie. It's got to be. I could be wrong, but I'm 99.99% convinced I know what the film is, and I was right away because I thought you've sent stuff for the Wolfman, the original Wolfman, Frankenstein meets the Wolfman, Curse of the Werewolf, that one, Wolfen as well. I'm sure there's something else, but the one film that I love and have talked about many times on the channel, which I'm not going to name because I'm going to let you think of it. Well, that's what I think it is anyway. So we'll open that on the next video. So stick around, folks, and we'll see if Kilt-Man gets it right. And by the way, the title of the video will actually be the name of the movie, because I've realised a long time ago when opening these things, you can't just keep saying a mystery movie unveiling, mystery movie canvas unboxed. You can't, because you'd have hundreds of videos just titled the same sort of thing. So I've kind of realised now, and I think it probably annoys Steve a little bit. I hope it doesn't, but I kind of say whatever the movie is, a celebration in artwork, you know, a movie, blah, 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 the canvas, you know, something like that. So at least you know going in. So that's what it will be. But I've told you what the clues were, such as they are. Dark, stormy night, full moon, huge hairy canvas on its way to the Kilt mansion. So I mean, it could be another. It could be me again. It's like this. It could be another version with me in there, looking hairy and gnarly, or hairier and gnarlier. But we'll find out, folks. So I'm going to cut this short right now. Have another swift glug of the good stuff. Cheers, y'all. Cheers, Steve. And I'll be back to unbox that. And Halloween just goes on and on and on. Isn't it great?